Is it enough? I finally got up the courage to post my situation and ask for some advice from my fellow sufferers. I will try to be brief. This is my second marriage. Last Wednesday would have been our 9th anniversary. We went on a very belated honeymoon in August, great, romantic trip. End of November my wife confessed her PIA to her 29-year-old personal trainer. I will be 47, she just turned 42. It apparently started in September, when she first met him and started training with him. She moved out, not with him, end of January. One of her sons, we each have 2 kids from prior marriages, lives with her. Her oldest stayed with me as well as my 2. Up until the end of March she seemed willing to reconcile. She broke it off several times but would return. At the end of March, she told me she knew it was an addiction and a fantasy, and was ready to call it off for good. She ended it one night, but 8 days later told me she just couldn't let him go. She told me she didn't want to work on our marriage right now. I offered divorce but she said she wasn't sure that's what she wanted either. Since then, I have repeatedly tried to apply the 180 but fail every time I see her. She still helps me with our youngest. Today I asked her again why she doesn't want a divorce and she says she's not sure it's what she wants. She tells me she still considers reconciling but is afraid to go back to the way things were, is afraid I'll throw the affair in her face when we argue and is not sure how we could get past the affair. Part of me wants to file for D just to end it, even though I am still madly in love with her and want her to end this affair and reconcile. Our marital counselor feels this is a midlife crisis and feels the only way I can possibly win her back is to do the 180. My gut tells me she is still addicted to him and that she realizes this affair has no long-term future, but she just keeps telling me I have to want it. I know I can't persuade her, but I find it difficult to let her go. What should I do? I feel ashamed for being so weak and unable to stick to the 180. My gut tells me to do that, but my heart tells me to try the 180 if I can stick to it. I take it you don't think the 180 will work in this case. I get it. I am being a total wimp and need to grow some balls. You are all right and I truly appreciate the honesty, as painful as it may be to Red. We haven't had slept together in almost 3 months. We did hook up once back in March but nothing before that for several months. I really like the suggestion of outing the trainer. I had considered that but had not done so. Her mom, dad is gone, and sister really like me and are not happy with her, but they know they won't be able to get her to listen to them. I have spoken with my close friends and she has talked to her friends. I am not sure what her friends think. Mine have told me to let her go and move on as well. Up until March I was hanging on because I honestly felt like she was going to end the affair. It is clear to me now that she won't. I know the 180 is for my benefit, not to get her to end it. What bothers me is that I know this affair has no future, and you all seem to agree. I see her waking up at some point, realizing what she gave up, and regretting it, and at this point in time, I keep wishing she would wake up while I am still willing to give her another chance, as opposed to when I have finally moved on. I realize I sound like my wife is used to getting her way, but the reality is the opposite. Without going into details, and I am not excusing her having an affair, she has been unhappy for some time because of various issues. We had gone to counseling over these issues and I thought things were getting better over the last year or so. That's why this affair caught me off guard. I agree with exposing him at his gym. I will definitely do that. I also agree that I need to just do it, file for D. As for my being okay with her screwing the OM, I'm not. It hurts like hell. However, I read so many posts of couples reconciling after an affair that I guess I was hoping that if she would end the affair that we would be able to move past this and possibly have a better marriage. Our finances are still joint. We filed bankruptcy a couple of years ago, so we have no assets to speak of. But I know what you're implying, and once I file, obviously we will split the finances. She is an RN and just started working part-time, while going back to school. The advice I've been getting hurts, but I realize all of you are right, and I truly appreciate the support and intervention. I told her yesterday I wanted a divorce. Her response was dumbfounding. She said she was confused and didn't see us ending this way, but said she respected my need for closure. She said she wouldn't let me pressure her into making a decision, which I clearly told her I wasn't doing. I paraphrased the let them go essay and told her I was no longer an option, that I trust her if she came back. I honestly don't know. My heart and the way I still feel about her now tells me I could, but my head tells me what you guys are saying. Why would I want her back after the way she's been treating me? As for the finances, I agree with cutting her off, but Florida doesn't have legal separation. Therefore, I will need to give her some support until the divorce is final, and once it's final I will owe her some alimony, not lifetime, but for a certain period of time. In other words, I would still be financing her. I was hesitant to call the gym where I think he's still working. He was let go from the location she used to work out at with him. She ended her membership, by the way. I am not sure if he's working at their other branch or not, but either way I will call both locations Friday, when I am off, to expose him as you all recommend. I am addicted to her. However, reading all of the posts from you wonderful people is really giving me hope, strength, and fueling my anger, which is exactly what I need to replace the compassion and love I've had for her. My STBX was my BFF, my lover, my confidant, my everything. However, I am finally seeing that life will go on without her, and, quite possibly, better than before, I hope. I would like to think that I really got to know her during the past 12 to 13 years together, and that she's gone from being so tender to an ice princess because I have been replaced by the OM, and not that she never was whom I thought she was. Either way, it still sucks, still hurts, and feels like such a loss. I don't feel I have acted much differently than many other men in my situation. Maybe I did drag this out longer than I should have, but I needed to get to the point where I was ready to let her go. I am at that point now, not happy about it but realize there is no alternative. Thank you all for your wisdom, support, and advice. I will let you know shortly how things go. I know I am far from being healed. I feel confident one minute and sad the next, and also pissed off at her but at the same time wishing I could get her back. I am so sick of this roller coaster of emotions. Update. Deep down inside I was hoping the D word would get her to come crawling back to me. She didn't. Therefore, as painful as it is to have another marriage, second, fail, and as painful as it is to have her treated me like she has, I am proceeding with the divorce. My comment, in addition to having her served: 1. Stop giving her money. Cancel joint CC, no more cash. Move 50% of cash out of any joint accounts. 2. Expose her cheating to friends and family. 3. Hire a pie to get the dirt of the OM. He's not in love with her. She's too old for him. He's just getting easy bonding from a woman in a MLC. Find out what other women he is currently doing this with too and expose to their husbands. Expose the women to each other. Let them realize what idiots they have been played for. The short time it took for this guy to move in shows he does this as part of his normal routine. Train them, compliment, meet for special sessions, bonding. Time for this player to get his. Story 2. This is a 3-part question. Does your spouse love you? And please explain how you know. Does your spouse respect you? And please explain how you know. Does your spouse desire you? Likewise. I'll start. Yes, my wife loves me. She sends me lovely greeting cards, buys me nice gifts, and when I'm in the hospital she's right there beside me. She makes me healthy food to take to work for lunches, packs them for me. She loves me like a parent loves a child. No, my wife does not respect me. She speaks to me with a scolding, condescending tone of voice. She never misses a single opportunity to point out my faults and weaknesses, while never once admiring nor complimenting my strengths. Her life statement of marriage was that she is going to change me if it's the last thing she does. No, my wife does not desire me. She avoids me physically for months on end, while clearly expressing desire for other men. How about a 4th? Are you happy in your marriage? My answer: I really don't know. I'm not unhappy so much, but there is a lot of room for improvement. My wife wants to invest her energy in her grandchildren and children, rather than working and earning money to contribute to our family and overcome the financial loading that she contributes to. Therefore, her husband has to make the ends meet financially. The natural result of this is more hours. The ends don't meet unless you're like him. For a married guy with a family, it is easy to say that you can cut hours down and scale down the household spending, but there is no evidence to support that. The evidence is that we are waiting with bated breath for every paycheck and scraping the bottom of the barrel to find money to get to work at the end of the pay period. This is math, not magic. If you want me to believe you, show me data, not speculation. My wife blows off our family day after month after year. She stuffs her face as bad as I do. In fact, her BMI is higher than mine, in spite of the fact that I bust my ass to earn enough money so that she can go to spas, massages, weight loss groups. No, she doesn't procrastinate when it comes to her kids, only when it comes to me. Whatever the kids need, she is Johnny on the spot to take care of it. Whatever I need, it's like that vanishes into a black hole. And yet, I do not nag, criticize, or belittle her ever. I have nothing but loving, respectful, edifying words for her always. And I still want her physically like the first day I met her 36 years ago. And I have not once in 36 years expressed anything about any other woman to her. Not movie stars, not ladies where I work or in the church, not the girl next door. And I can't open up to her about what is the problem. I either need some good excuse that is plausible, or a bottle of Ipecac or some equivalent self-sickness-inducing potion. We have been planning to go to our granddaughter's birthday party tomorrow night. Daughter of her son, my stepson. My stepson won the genetic lottery. He was a natural-born salesman, and he has done very well for himself financially. His mother is very proud of him, rightfully, and so am I, but going to his house always makes me feel second-rate. This party is scheduled for 5 p.m. tomorrow. This house is an hour away from us. She just called me and told me about our grandson's football game at noon. She wants to go and our son invited us to come back to his house for the 4-hour layover period. He is in a Pee-wee league. Game is very short, between the game and the party. I had mustered the courage for the couple-hour party, but I don't know how I will endure 7 hours of feeling worthless. I just got laid off from my job Monday and already feel pretty low to begin with. I didn't make excuses to her on the phone, but I would really like to let her go to the game and back to her son's house. Then I'll drive my own car to arrive in time for the birthday celebration. Historically, trying to explain how I feel going there has not been well received. She takes it as some kind of attack upon her son, and it isn't that at all. A few years back, I didn't want to spend extreme time there for some other reason, and she accused me of hating him because he is successful. I told her that it is not him who I hate, it is myself who I hate. She doesn't get it, she has no idea of why I don't want to go. We're not divorced, still married, living in the same house, and I really didn't think I had any obligation to hang around people who make me uncomfortable, even if I am married. I do it for her so she can have me around at family functions there. I don't want to give the impression that I'm mistreated there, I'm not. It's my own feelings. As to finding a new job, that is clearly on my short agenda. Honestly, I don't even need one that badly. We could survive for years even if I got none. But I'm not good at being a man of leisure. I let her off the hook hundreds of times when she wanted to do things with her family and friends in preference to me. Half a year later, my DW had a 20-year off-on relationship with a man before we were married. Since our marriage, she has had occasional contact with him, including invitations to family gatherings attended by us as a couple. I have no thought that is anything other than casual, and as I understand, was nothing more than a roommate deal for about the last decade of the two. It was mostly that neither of them made enough money to support themselves autonomously. I can believe this because my W lived with family and friends over the years, and never alone. I have never complained about the contact, even though it was uncomfortable to go to parties with him there. But, in my gut, I feel disrespected by it. I think she should avoid him because she is now married to me. I would understand and not feel disrespected if she had contact because of a child, but they have none. I just wondered what the array of opinions here is. Their relationship was FWB. My W wanted to marry, but the guy didn't want it. They lived together off and on because neither of them could afford to be autonomous. My W tells me that they were strictly roommates for about the last 10 years, but they attended things together, like family, etc. He is a lazy, reefer-blowing, grow-your-own-couch potato. Anywhere he's invited with free beer and food, he'll be there, if he can get someone to give him a ride. I get the impression that this is a recent change, that going back, he was productive, held a job, etc. I don't know about his relationship to his own family. My WS family, however, is one which is extremely loyal to their friends, and mostly, they are extreme extroverts who like to have lots of gatherings, meals, etc. It occurs to me that they have a set of relationship standards which always seeks not to exclude anyone. The parties get very large. I've always found it amazing how life brings around occurrences which show us the exact truth. People can lie with their lips exceedingly well, but their actions, with time, show the underlying thought processes. The guy just had a stroke and is recuperating in a rehab hospital. Of course, it was my W who told me all about this. She told me that she told him that she was coming to see him. I take no joy or pleasure in this man's unfortunate health crisis. I also would not want to deny him access to comfort and support from those close to him at this time of his life. I therefore have not made any statements at this time about him or me or any demands about her staying away. But I have learned, now, the complete truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I was completely and utterly right to interpret these actions as disrespect for me on her part. She would rather spend time with, and sleep with, OM, he's an alpha. However, living with OM ain't cute. He doesn't make much money when he works, and that's not damned often. Mostly, he grows and blows. She works hard, and works regularly, but her salary is just pretty low. Mostly, with OM, she would be the breadwinner. He's too disabled now to have any kind of relationship except caregiver, patient. What I believe she would do is to find another alpha, because her financial security would be in place with her inheritance. She could then have someone she actually wanted for her husband. If I left and married another woman, the result would only be the same. I have some control over the outcome, but I cannot morph myself into a confident, self-assured, handsome 10 who that woman, or any other woman, would desire and want, except to fill the role of supply guy. Enduring the financial hardship and turmoil of a divorce would have, ultimately, no benefit. I'm the guy to whom the ladies come for a crying shoulder when their alpha dumps them. End result is quite the same, stay or go. None of those fulfillment will make me desirable and attractive to a woman. By and large, it seems to me over decades of observation that women are attracted to those men who treat them like crap. And I simply cannot be that kind of a person, no matter what I get for it. I felt disrespected, I can see that many others would also. And there are a few who wouldn't. Perhaps they are among the most self-assured people on here, I don't know. I have learned from this discussion that I am not unique, nor am I unreasonable about this. I think trying to help someone be fulfilled and happy in that kind of a marriage would be very hard for anyone. Even the professional counselors probably would throw up their hands and say divorce. It is a reasonable conclusion, because my dilemma seems like an impasse. One of my wife's friends lost her brother to cancer this week. The family is having an informal gathering today. I have seen my wife's friend exactly twice in my entire life. Once, she was at a support group meeting that my wife and I attended. Once, she came upstairs to my hospital room when her brother was there as a patient at the same time. I agreed to go with my wife to the gathering, but my wife insists that I never want to go anywhere with her. My wife has never known a stranger. She is extroverted to the max. I have had about 3 friends in my entire life. I'm introverted to the max. I suppose she thinks I should be enthusiastic about going. Update. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of everything I do being wrong, incomplete, untimely, too early. I no sooner get my hair to look decent again than I start hearing it about how I should go to a barber named Kachais. I am 66 years old with peripheral artery disease and a right leg full of crap. I'm tired of hearing that my lower right leg is swelled and red. It has been swelled and red for 20 damn years. I know. It's never going to look like my left leg, and it's never going to look 30 years old. They even ablated the right great saphenous vein. Didn't change things much. It will be swollen and red on its way into the crematory furnace. I don't want to overdose on diuretics and have to go pee 25 times today. I'm tired of having to wear square-tailed shirts which are 3 sizes too big for me. I look like a tourist bozo. Hang a camera on my neck and get me some shades. I'm tired of being taken to task about $3 for a Diet Coke and a bag of Cheetos or going to the diner for the $5 breakfast special. I made $650 over the last 7 years, the last of which I was out on disability. That's still way north of the national per capita income. I'm tired of being told how incompetent, how stupid, how ignorant I am of even the most basic repairs. I'm tired of having to pay through the nose for simple handyman chores because in no other way can she get it done to a standard that would challenge the anal retentive chef. I need a polite, yet effective, way to say, shut up, and leave me the hell alone. I'll do as I damn well please. It's my nickel, earned by my hands, by the sacrifice of my time and my effort. It's none of your damn business. You have never seen one homeless or carless day. You have not spent one hungry hour, nor even 1 hour in which you did not have enough money to provide you 2 years of uninterrupted food and shelter, whether I earned the next penny or not. If anybody has some words for me which will work, I'll be glad to try them. If they don't work, it is going to be sayonara. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. My W and I recently had a discussion in which I told her I wish you liked me. She answered, I do like you. But as the discussion came to an abrupt end, I started to wonder. She must be able to separate what she does from who she is. I can't. What I do is who I am. It is not possible for me to accept criticism of what I have done without considering it a personal insult. If someone doesn't like what I do, she doesn't like me. This got further confirmed the next day. She asked me why I was so unhappy. I should be concentrating on retirement and having fun. I told her that for me, there is no fun unless there is accomplishment. Retirement accomplishes nothing, therefore, it is not possible to have fun in retirement. There has to be a goal, something to do, something to get done. Thank you for doing that is meaningless when said in a context of negative statements about how that was done. I wonder if this is true for other couples. The first time I have had no work to do for any extended time, more than a month, in 50 years. I managed through the previous half-century because I was good at 2 careers, both of which I loved and wanted, and both of which had lots of people who were very happy and very glad about the results of my work. I had very few complaints. My jobs produced very quick raises and extra responsibilities. My businesses were successful, providing well for our family. The fact that I was married to a compulsive pessimist was then only a small portion of the total reward system. My feedback loop, then, was comprised of 90% optimistic and only 10% pessimistic. In the past 14 months, I've been disabled. The first 4 months of that, I spent in rehab and hospital. Things were better even then, because my providers brought encouragement and were able to dominate the feedback function. Coming home, the loop became comprised of 100% negativity. I mean, the kind which looks at a picture of Marilyn Monroe and regards her mole as her principal feature. I'm having a hard time right now. My wife wants to dress me. I mean, not as a little boy, but she wants to select and buy my clothes. My tastes in clothes are much different than hers. She wants me to wear clothes which are too big for me, and she insists upon me wearing my shirt tail out. I look like a beer-swilling slob. I'm a more conservative engineer pocket protector and slide rule type who would love it if I had only one kind of socks in any drawer, so that any pair I pulled out would be a match. All white shirts, with rounded tails, and dress slacks which don't rub the floor, don't fall down if I wear no belt, and get stepped on by my heels. I'm not impressed by style, I'm impressed by clean, pressed, professional. I want this appearance anywhere I go. I want to, going forward, buy and maintain my own wardrobe. But I don't want to hurt her feelings. She is a good wife and gives more to our marriage than I ever deserved. I've had 2 hospital stays with bleeding ulcer problem in my stomach. Makes me sick, and my hemoglobin drops into the range where I have to be transfused. I have to be on blood thinners because I have atrial fibrillation. I threw a clot about 1.5 years ago. It gave me a stroke. By God's grace, I have no residual damage from the stroke. My wife is 553. She is calling my doctors herself. She wants this problem fixed. Now, before Christmas Eve. I think I have sufficiently explained this to her. The docs do not want to clip or cauterize these ulcers. They want them to heal naturally, because they assess the risk of doing work on them is higher than the risk of leaving them alone. They are afraid they will give me more bleeding, not less. In the midst of the rather heated, she was heated, not me, discussion I had with her, it comes out of her. They are going to screw around and you are going to be in the hospital on Christmas. I am not going to miss my time with my grandchildren. To which I replied, you can go. If I'm in the hospital, you have nothing to worry about. I am professionally cared for 24/7 in here. To which she replied, but it will ruin it. Okay, I ask you. I don't have the foggiest idea why going to her son's house and her sister's house would be ruined if I weren't there. I just don't get it. What the hell is the big deal? Why must I be there? And she was angry at the doctors again last night. I am 2 days out of the hospital. I'm 67 years old. I've survived 4 heart attacks and 2 strokes. I've had a triple bypass, 5 cardiac stents, and a bovine aortic valve replacement. I have congestive heart failure and stable angina. I'm 100% dependent on a pacemaker. I was winded and had to sit down after 3 successive trips up a half flight of stairs carrying groceries into the house. It's as if she thinks these doctors should have some kind of magic which would turn back the hands of time to 10 years ago before any of this happened. She says, this is not what I signed up for. To which my unspoken reply is, I really didn't want my heart and circulatory system to go bad, either I didn't sign up for that. My comment, your sorry Pos W wants nothing more than for you to kick the bucket. She can then run off with her destitute boy toy and spend your money on him. Why the hell do you stay? D her, relocate to another state. What money you don't blow on D, donate it to St. Jude's. Personally, I would tear muscle in my fingers, giving her the middle finger. I'm not defending your wife in any way, shape, or form, but I will tell you that having an unhealthy spouse is stressful on both spouses. Not everyone copes with stress successfully. Both parties are more than ready for the problems to be solved. It sounds like she's not good at managing stress or accepting reality. She needs to learn coping skills and support you. If she's unwilling to do so, kick her to the curb. OP updates. I am doing better by receiving iron infusions. I found a good hematologist who is willing to prescribe it, and she is looking into the possibility of stimulating more erythropoietin production in hopes the blood marrow factories will catch up to schedule and partially relieve my anemia. No plan for actually trying to stop the bleeding has been proposed. I think I'm making some progress at getting DW to understand this. There's no magic pill that is going to make me 45 years old again. I do the best I can, but I'm tired and still anemic, 67 years old, and have survived 4 minor heart attacks and 2 strokes. I was bound to a wheelchair only a year ago. My cardiologist is recommending adding a 3rd lead wire to my pacemaker. I'm reading about this but not yet understanding how this will smooth arrhythmias and make my heart pump better. I go to see them next week. I think his recommendation is called a biventricular pacemaker. I'm a candidacy match for this, having heart failure which is not too treatable with medication. A big part of this is that DW and I have much different temperament and personality types. She is described well as type always in a hurry, always stressed. I frustrate her because I'm type B, laid back. I just don't want too many doctor appointments which interfere with my work schedule. Our relationship difficulty comes from our definition of the problem. My wife wants to move back near her family of origin. Her definition of the problem is that she doesn't want to lose a house she found located where she wants to be. My definition of the problem is that I am damned near 68 years old, with CHF, CAD, PAD, diabetes. Only 15 months ago was I released from my wheelchair and given permission to return to work. Because I am 67 years old, it took me nearly 8 months to find a job. She hasn't worked in 4 years. She went out on Social Security disability. We are having extreme difficulty qualifying for a mortgage. One of the reasons for this is my short term of employment at new employer, not being 2 years. We cannot claim my income other than Social Security. Her definition of the problem is that we are finding it hard to qualify for a mortgage. My definition of the problem is that we need a mortgage. We own 2 houses free and clear. One of them we live in. One of them is rented. TJW. TJW discussion starter, number 6, April 7, 2020, edited. She doesn't want to keep one of the homes. She wants to keep the rental property because it brings us a small net of income. And I don't care if we move, I don't care if we stay. I'm perfectly comfortable here. The problem is that I don't want to have this mortgage. I am too old and my health is too poor to take this on. We are only going to wind up selling the rental property to stay in the new house. And I am okay with that, too. And, yes, the dream house, which is a 2-bedroom condo, is more expensive than the modular home on leased land we would be selling. She is my 3rd wife. And yes, she has friends and relatives there. She could quite easily be there if she wasn't so adamant about having the rental property, too. And, yes, the place we're in currently has bad memories. The death of our daughter, the alienation of our granddaughter. Sis-in-law hated his mother-in-law. The feelings were mutual, but now he is in control. When our daughter was still alive, she preserved the relationship to her mother. There is her childhood home. I can understand why she wants it this way. She gets me to partially slay the mortgage dragon for her while I can still work. My comment, you need to just be done. She seems to bring you nothing but unhappiness. Let her move. Without you, Your wife needs to manage her expectations. Too damned bad if she wants a fancy new condo. I want to own my own Caribbean island. Doesn't mean I'm going to get my way. If she insists on being greedy and refuses to look at more modestly priced homes that are within your budget, then I wouldn't budge. Too bad if she doesn't like it. Really, it's just too damn bad. OP final update. I got a new job nearly a year ago. DW has been on a spending spree ever since. Home improvements, cat homes, new car, etc. We increased our debt load by more than $10,000 to buy her a bigger car with more features. We traded in a perfectly good 2019 model SUV with 30,000 miles for a bigger, more featured 2019 model with 19,000 miles. We have debts totaling my take-home year's salary. We have assets totaling about 2 years' take-home salary. I am nearly 70 years old. Sorry, but to me, this is a big deal. We should be working towards retirement of these debts. All of them. My resentment at this whole thing is eating me alive. I come home tired after a day's work. She complains that I'm doing too much. Meanwhile, she has spent until 3 p.m. surfing the net, feeding neighborhood cats, and mollycoddling her brother's 2 girls, taking care of their home, their groceries, their finances, you name it. I feel exactly like the pay-for-it beta boy pack mule that I am. She came home after visiting her grandchildren and proudly announced how her high school sophomore granddaughter explained that paying for the gas, pumping it, fixing the car, buying dinner, all of it is the guy's responsibility. I am now becoming a liberal and will make misandry my buzzword. My final comment. I don't understand why men stay with women like this. I don't. I'm almost wanting to throw up for a while because I am tired of reading about it, one after the other. Men are with these crappy women, not putting their collective feet down, and the crappy women are living entitled, spoiled, pampered lives. Why are men persisting giving these crappy women such great existences? Can someone tell me? Why weren't these men totally turned off when this kind of behavior started to the point they stopped meeting the needs of the crappy women?